So besides my work in early childhood education, we also submit a lot of grants, either early childhood focused or coach-athlete relationship focused, SEL, positive youth development, and we also submit manuscripts along the same lines. So another role that I have is assistant track and field coach at Nazareth College, where I work primarily with the throwers, working on shot put, discus, hammer, and weight throw, and the javelin throw. With my role as a coach, I've definitely seen how SEL and physical activity are interlinked, more specifically with the college athletes that I've coached. So I've been coaching Division III athletics for over 10 years, both at SUNY Fredonia and here at Nazareth College. When I first started coaching, the philosophy was more about winning and wanting to try and throw as far as possible. And I noticed that the pressure and the stress on the athletes didn't always lead to more positive performances and outcomes. So as I transitioned to Nazareth College, I made it a point to try and coach the way I taught in the classroom. So trying to be more personal, meet the kids where they are, whether they're a freshman or somebody who's thrown before in high school that's coming to our track program, or somebody who's never thrown before and who's just interested in learning a new sport, treating them as if they were my high school and middle school students, smiling, talking to them, trying to learn as much about them as possible, knowing that and practice and being on our track team was a safe place for them to be, and just working on developing relationships, trust, respect, opening up lines of communication that I know through my years of teaching and coaching it's going to lead to more efficient outcomes and performances for the athletes, and it's going to be a more pleasurable experience for them as well. But I love coaching because we're able to watch and learn more about the kids. We're able to watch them grow and develop with some of the high school kids that I work with, and also with the college athletes that I have. I have another group of athletes that are graduating this year from Nazareth College, and just watching them grow into young adults. I mean, obviously they're adults when they come into Nazareth as freshmen, but the conversations change. So it's not so much more about throwing and trying to be the best athlete, but we're trying to develop great people also, people who are going to go into the workforce and be teachers and doctors and lawyers and physical therapists and occupational therapists. So I enjoy the process of helping them become better throwers, but also the process of them turning into better people. So the type of skills that I've noticed over the course of the last few years in working specifically with high school athletes, but also with college athletes, are grit and resiliency. Now with track and field specifically and throwing, they're not events where you can pick up the shot put on Monday and you're going to be an Olympic caliber athlete on Friday. So it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of patience, and we try and work with the athletes in how to develop process goals as opposed to outcome goals. So it's not always about trying to throw the farthest every single day at every single meet and every single practice. It's about learning how to throw, developing adequate technique. We don't have a lot of time to spend with our athletes, especially at the collegiate level, but that it's a process and that they learn to understand that they're not going to be the best athletes their freshman year. Now, sometimes it works out that way, but more often than not, it takes a few years for them to develop into the athletes that they are, and everybody has different goals and outcomes as well. So our job as coaches, as our teachers, is to meet our athletes where they are. The process goals, and I talk about this a lot with my college athletes. So when we're talking about process goals, it's more about setting short-term little commitments that are going to help us achieve our bigger goals. So say, for example, we have an athlete who wants to throw a shot put 50 feet. Well, if they're a 30-foot shot putter, they're not going to throw 50 feet in a week. So we set up a little process goal. So we have to practice 3 or 4 times a week. We have to take care of our bodies. So we have to monitor like our nutritional intake. Are we getting enough sleep? Are we doing everything under our power to get to where we're going to achieve our outcome goal of throwing 50 feet? So with our athletes, we talk a lot about enjoying the process, so that it doesn't come quickly, and it's something, especially with high school athletes, if we have 9th, 10th, and 11th graders that we're working with the onset of social media, it's really easy to compare themselves to somebody else, But what social media doesn't show is some of the bad practices or the bad outcomes or the bad performances that these people have. The physical activity with those bigger challenges of coping and stress and feeling the pressure, for some kids, especially at the collegiate level, it's an outlet for them. So a lot of our athletes who are going to be teachers or doctors or speech pathologists, what have you, the 2 or 3 hours that we have every couple days, that gives them a break from everything else that they're worrying about. So really it comes down to a lot of time management. Are we able to kind of fit in everything throughout the course of the day in a way that's going to be more efficient for you? So as adults, we need to try and figure out ways that we can meet our kids where they are. There's a lot of research, especially in early childhood education and with middle school as well, as far as movement breaks. So we're starting to notice that there's a lot of teachers, especially in elementary schools, second, third, fourth grade, where every hour, every 45 minutes, they take 30 seconds. Let's see how many jumping jacks we can get done in 30 seconds. Let's see how many push-ups we can get done. Anything to switch the wiring and the focus of the children for those 30 seconds, then we see that teachers are getting back to whatever English or social studies or math lesson that they're focusing on. So it gives the children a little bit of a break. They could get out, whatever giggles or, and things of that nature, but then they can also get back and focus on their academics and whatever they're working on in the classroom.